Now I want to read to you from a book. I'm not going to do the review of the book yet. I will, but I want to do some excerpts from it first. It's called Get Us Out of Here. It's by Maria Simma, Simma. She's deceased now. But she's an old woman that used to live in Austria, very devout Catholic, because, Austria is a Catholic country. God, thank God, and may it stay that way always. And may Europe, Lord, convert back to Catholicism. May it turn back to you, Lord, to save itself. And America. And all the Western countries. When we turn our back on God, what you see out in the streets is what happens. Okay. So Purgatory, she has a chapter in here on Purgatory. I want to read to you the chapter. It's small, but, I want to read it to you. Because I have a great devotion to the holy souls in Purgatory. Because they're completely helpless. They can't do a darn thing for themselves. They can only pray for you, which is nice. But you have to pray for them. And offer all your sufferings to them and all the good works that you do. If you help somebody, if you give money, whatever you do, that's good. Offer it to them. So you don't get the merits, they get the merits. But then God will bless you back. It always happens. But don't look for it, but he will. So, anyway, Maria Simma used to see the souls in Purgatory. They would come to her all the time. Padre Pio had souls in Purgatory come to him. But Maria Simma had them constantly. This was like her mission in life, to help them. And she used to pray for them all the time. Okay? And her book is fantastic. Fantastic. Which I'm going to do a whole review of it. So, anyway, she's being interviewed, right? And it says, now please, what exactly is Purgatory? And she replies, Purgatory is a place and a condition that every soul experiences when it still needs to do atonement and reparation for sins that it committed during its life, before it too can join Jesus in heaven. Very little is taught about it today, and when little is taught about Purgatory, it leads far more people in becoming curious on their own, and without any spiritual guidance, they then stumble so easily into occult practices, which we see today. Usually it's said that Purgatory is only a condition. This is only partially true, for it is most definitely also a place. It is also a time for waiting, where the souls yearn for God. This yearning for him is their greatest suffering. All poor souls experience this no matter at what level they find themselves. There are three main levels in Purgatory, and I experience the souls that need relatively little for their deliverance into heaven. I believe this for two reasons. The first is something that I experienced when I was called to a house by the owner who had just lost his wife recently, and where strange things were happening at night. So I agreed to go there to spend a night to see if I could help him. It didn't take long for a loud banging and thumping to start out in the hall. I then asked, as I normally do, what can I do for you? But the noises only became louder and louder, when suddenly a huge animal appeared that I had never seen before, and right behind it came a large serpent that quickly devoured the first animal. Then the whole scene disappeared. I must have been somewhat afraid because I was sweating by the time it was all over. Later on, I described this to a man who knows plenty about such occurrences, and it was he who identified the first animal for me. It had been a hippopotamus, which is symbolic for hard-heartedness. This does not mean that the woman was in Purgatory as a hippopotamus. This was only a way for me to understand this case more clearly. Having then spoken at length with the widower, it soon became clear that his wife had kept an animosity going with another woman for some 30 years. Oh, God. You got to let things go, man. No matter how bad they are, you got to let them go. They got to go. Even though the latter had wanted peace between them, this refusal to forgive them then earned her the deepest level of Purgatory, from where I was not yet able to deliver her. That's a shame. The second reason I believe that I usually experience the souls in the highest level of Purgatory is a diary written by a German princess in the 1920s. For several years, she experienced the souls in the deeper level, and many of those descriptions are certainly monstrous and very much more painful than what I have seen. What might some other differences be between the higher and the lower levels of Purgatory? In the lowest level, Satan can still attack the souls, whereas he can no longer do that in the higher levels. It is true that we are tested while here on earth, and that testing stops with our death. However, the souls in the deepest third of purgatory must first suffer away the sins that they committed before our prayers. Masses and good deeds can be beneficial to them, and I would urge the Latin Mass to have said for souls. And a part of that suffering in the deeper levels is that they continue being attacked by Satan. The many levels of purgatory are different, in the same way that all our earthly illnesses are different. One could be a mere irritation of a fingernail, while another can consume the entire body like a fire. This fire exists only in the lowest levels of purgatory, but not in the highest. Can our prayers block Satan from attacking those in the lowest level of purgatory? Yes, they can. And especially when we directly ask St. Michael the Archangel and the lesser angels to do that. And within these three main levels, there are more levels? Yes, a very large number, because every soul is so very different when it arrives there. There are great sufferings, and there are lesser sufferings, and everything in between. There are probably as many levels there as there are souls, because no two people or two souls, of course, are identical. When the poor souls suffer, do they experience joy and hope in any way? Yes. No soul ever wishes to return here on earth, because they have a realization of God that is very much clearer than ours is here. They never want to return to the darkness that we live in here. So God puts the souls there to cleanse them of their sins not yet atoned for and repaired. Yes. Well, no, sorry. The interviewer says, so God puts the souls there to cleanse them of their sins not yet atoned for and repaired. And she said, no. This is usually taught incorrectly, and false teaching such as this can so easily turn people away. God does not put them there. The souls judge and then assign themselves to the appropriate level. See, this is what people don't understand. They always see, God as a judge and he's going to condemn. I always tell people, you put yourself in purgatory or hell. You judge yourself. You know what you've done when you die. Everything's clear. The souls judge and then assign themselves to the appropriate level. It is they who wish to cleanse themselves before they join God. And realizing this specific truth about God's love for us is very important. God is love. He is not a tyrant, okay? That's what the evil people want you to think. That's not true. So it is we who recognize that we're not yet pure and therefore need to be cleansed in purgatory? Yes, that's right. Do souls there ever revolt against their condition? Are they patient, or do some of them not want the condition that they are in? No, they are patient and they want to suffer, knowing that through this they atone and repair everything. They become clean to arrive in front of God in an entirely brilliant condition. The more atonement and reparation that are done, the cleaner they become. Are the sufferings of purgatory greater than those that we suffer here on earth? All in all, they're greater, and sometimes very much greater, especially in the bottom third. They suffer more spiritually than we do. When I asked a soul once what he suffered there, he told me that it was a very particular suffering. For instance, a father who was too lazy to work for his family, a lot of that going around. I won't mention there are certain places in America you could visit and you could see people not working for their families during the day, that then suffered here because of him, then had to work a great deal there. The suffering from that will be much greater than the body would suffer from appropriate work here. So the guy who didn't work here had to work in purgatory, and much worse. But our sufferings here, despite being less severe, are worth so very much more to erase our sins than those in purgatory. If purgatory is also a place, do the poor souls spend their time at particular places here on earth? Yes, it seems they congregate the most often around the altar or at the spot where they died. A woman I knew in Liechtenstein saw them only around the altar, and when they were no longer there, she knew they had gone to heaven. The souls do not come to me, to us, or us from purgatory, but come to us. The souls do not come to me or to us from purgatory, but come to us with purgatory. It is so many different places, not a place. in so many different conditions, not a condition. If purgatory is many places or a large space, then are heaven and hell also places? Yes. My spiritual director had me ask about this, and the answer was, it is wrong that many theologians teach today when they say that heaven, purgatory, and hell are merely conditions. They are all places too. How broad in the span of time that souls must be there before they can enter heaven. Oh, that's very broad. Some for a mere half hour, and others for the rest of time, to the very last day. The average the souls say is 40 years. So there will be a last day? Yes. Can a poor soul see and communicate with others near to it? They are always aware of the presence of others, and know that they were not alone when many have acted together to do something, but they only rarely communicate with each other. Maria, can they read? Yes, they can. They read spiritually. I know this because when they come to me, I do not have to read the names or questions that I have for them. They simply lift them off the page. How much do they know about their families? I would say almost everything. They see us all the time. They hear every word that we speak about them. They know what our sufferings are, but they do not know our thoughts. They watch their own funerals and know who is there praying for them and who is there only to be seen by the others. Do the souls there know what is going to happen in the world? Yes, they do know some of it, but not everything. They've told me that there is something very big just at the door, just ahead of us. For many years they said it was in front of the door, but since May 93, this book was written a while ago, they have used the term at the door. It will be for the conversion of humanity. And in smaller ways, they have told me things slightly ahead of time. In the summer of 1954, they told me about the floods that did so much damage in this area. Then they also told me once that after an avalanche, there was still some people alive under the snow, and so the rescue people continued to search a while longer than they would have otherwise, and they did locate and save people for 2 more days after I told them to please continue searching. It is said that time no longer exists after this life, but then you say that purgatory is a time for yearning for God. Please explain this. It's correct that after this life, time no longer exists. But when we are told that a soul must suffer so much time there, it is being translated into time for us. They can say they must suffer more. They cannot yet be delivered, or their sufferings has lessened. When a time is given, or when a number of masses is given by the souls, it symbolizes the intensity and amount of the suffering. Do the poor souls have bodies, as we do here, or do they have another, say, spiritual body? They say they do not notice that they do not have their body with them. They have a transfigured body, and it can take on the form of a healed and dressed human body. The souls regret things they did badly while here. Do they also regret things that they did not do at all while they were here on earth? Yes, very much. They regret chances that they missed to do good for God and for their fellow men. And they get to see what good fruits would have come from them. That's awful. When we die, we lose the chance to do good deeds. The souls in purgatory can no longer earn merits as we can here. It's also said that the angels envy us because we can do good deeds for God, whereas they cannot do good deeds for Him either, thus earning further merits. What happens when people who know purgatory exists go ahead and sin anyway, thinking it won't be so bad? That they will regret very dearly, much more dearly than those who commit the same sin knowing nothing about its existence. What is the deepest purpose of all for what you experience? God has permitted this so that through my apostolate, others would have a clear understanding that our life here is only for us to gain entry into heaven. Our purpose here is to be good to one another, and by doing so to join God both here and now, and then finally in eternity. With this realization, life becomes increasingly valuable to everyone, and the absurdity of what a huge number of people do with it also becomes much clearer. It shows us the enormity of God's love and the glorious beauty that life can become when we work alongside of Him. So what I have been shown should and can give people a clear and definite orientation through life if they wish to participate in God's heavenly will and in its resulting beauty. And in a nutshell, what is it that you yourself have learned through these many years of your very rare experiences? To love God with all my might. Okay, so that's her chapter, just where she discusses purgatory. I'm going to read from other chapters too, because they're not really long, which is great. You see how Maria says that we're responsible for what we don't do, right? Well, I just want to say, we live in a world right now now these are the evil people that control this world, because they don't worship the same God we do. They think they worship a God, but they're in for a surprise. They promote drug use. Yes, sit home and be drugged up on marijuana all day. Yeah, that's a really good life. Yeah, God's going to be very proud of you. So how'd you spend your life, young man? Oh, I was drugged up all the time. Oh, good job, good job. See, that's going to be bad for that person. All the good they could have done, all the talents they could have used and developed for the good of humanity. Instead, I'm going to sit and do drugs, or I'm going to watch TikTok for 20 hours a day. This is, these things, these social media, I mean, it has value, but when it's abused, it's really ripping people from God. It is. And it can bring people in moderation, like these videos, I'm hoping. But it's what we do, we're responsible for what we do and what we don't do. And that's an important point. And the evil people of this world promote us wasting our time on filth and nonsense when we should be doing good deeds, building, creating. That's why this country is going down the tubes. Down the tubes. Because we're not building and creating. We're wasting time on trash. And it's going to change. It's going to change. In fact, I believe what the souls told Maria, that something big hasn't come yet. Because there has to be an event to stop people from what they're doing. The country has to be shaken so that they'll wake up. Like, oh, wow, I've been living the wrong way. I'm in a trance because I watch television all the time and I'm hypnotized, or social media, or polluted, filthy music, whatever. You're being hypnotized, literally, okay? But God will shake everyone to wake them up at some point. Have a great day. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a great